Welcome, everybody, to today's webinar. The clock has struck 3 p.m. Central European Time, and we're going to get started with today's content. The key reasons why procurement should adopt best-of-breed technology. My name is Sam Jenks, Chief Growth Officer at Kodiak Hub, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. I'm joined today by my colleague as well, Richard Teuchler, who's been instrumental in helping to build some of today's content. Will also be aiding me in the background to answer your questions and issue some very important polls. So make sure to keep your voting fingers ready. Lastly, we will also be joined by my third co-host, so to say, as I often am, Charlie, the office dog. So if you hear a bark in the background, it's just Charlie who's adding his point of view to the day's content. And of course, he can be rather opinionated. Short about Kodiak Hub, for those of you who don't know about us. Kodiak Hub is a best-of-breed cloud-based supplier relationship management solution that helps procurement and sourcing professionals just like you to be able to build smarter and more sustainable supplier relationships with deeper sourcing insights in the form of robust ratings and analytics. Kodiak provides an ecosystem and a modular suite that our users can be able to plug and play to manage information, risk, compliance, performance, and collaboration all from one place. During the course of today's session, of course, you will all become a bit more thoroughly acquainted with the Kodiak Hub solution and better understand how best-of-breed technology like ours can be able to deliver optimal value in the broader procurement process. With that said, let's get on to today's agenda for the webinar. During these next 40 to 45 minutes, I will try to thoroughly cover the following points. The introduction is where we are today right now. The next section following is a session that I like to call Flight LX 2066. This was a flight that I was on last week, which I gained some insights from about ProcureTech, oddly enough. Complementary, not contradictory. I think it's an important dichotomy to talk about when we talk about end-to-end solutions versus best-of-breed solutions. Good playing conditions. Well, let's be honest, it's a perfect time to buy technology. It's many reasons why as well. The 8 I's, which are really the meat and potatoes of today's session. These are going to be the big benefits of best of breed, how of course you're going to be able to sell it into your team, how to get it done, the budget, people, and architecture that matters, as well as then landing in a demo of Kodiak Hub solution, which is a best of breed SRM provider for those of you, again, who don't know about us. Without any further ado, let's get into the day's content. Starting with my flight last week. So I was heading on annual leave over a long weekend, and while on board Swiss Air flight en route from Zurich to Porto, I started to get a bit hungry. So I decided to purchase some rather overpriced cashews, as one does on a flight, and it didn't really take long until I had nothing but an empty cashew package in my hand. And to escape the reality of the mildly boring journey ahead, I just turned over the package and I started kind of reading the fine text on the back of the package. And I saw, as you see in the top right-hand corner here, a QR code on the back. It had an image above which was labeled Amadou Koulibaly, cashew farmer. And below the QR, it read, scan and learn more. In the bottom left-hand corner, there was also a lot ID, as well as a section that read origin Burkina Faso. I scanned the code and saved the URL until I was back on the ground. And when I had service, I then read the brief bio provided for Amadou, one of many farmers and partner profiles published on the website of Paca, who was then the distributor of these particular packages of cashews. The availability of this packaging wowed me, right? Amadou's story is really a product of the shifts that are occurring within Industry 4.0. As put by IBM, Industry 4.0 is revolutionizing the way that companies manufacture, improve, and distribute their products. Industry 4.0, which I'm sure that you're all aware of, has brought an era where businesses are now leveraging new technologies to enhance their own resource efficiency, automating processes and work tasks, providing the business with new opportunities for revenue growth. Even higher value created even higher value is really created, right? When data from the production operations is also going to be able to be combined with operational data from ERP, supply chain, customer service, and other enterprise systems, which is really creating a whole new level of visibility and insight from previously siloed information. This is the fourth industrial revolution. And on the taxi in the flight, up to the arrival gate, I kind of had an epiphany of sorts. We've entered into a new era, an era of connectivity and visibility, and this will require, of course, robust ecosystems of procurement and supply chain technology. But when that technology is leveraged in the right way, it can create wow moments, just like I experienced in seat 16D on flight LX 2066. Funnily enough, this small cashew package made me recognize the value of an entire technology category. The purpose of ProcureTech ecosystems, as we see on screen here right now, isn't simply to work faster or deliver savings, right? Those are part of it. Efficiency is a means, though, to reach a goal faster, but it's not the destination. The real purpose of ProcureTech ecosystems, in my opinion, is to deliver holistic end user value, to make sure that your team, your users, your partners, suppliers, the customers in the world around you is able to get value from the solutions that you're utilizing. And with this, I would like to stop and pause for our first poll of the day and ask a quick question to everybody in attendance. Do you feel as if your current ProcureTech stack is creating true end user value for you and your team? Please take a moment and vote now. On screen, you should be able to see this poll. If you have a moment, please try to vote on the poll that you see on screen. Again, is your current ProcureTech stack creating true value for your team? Seems pretty much a lopsided response. That's unfortunately nobody's really feeling as if they're getting full value from their ProcureTech stack. But it seems as if there's others that feel like it could be improved upon. And our focus today, of course, is to try to inspire you a bit more to build a more robust and functional ProcureTech ecosystem that will deliver upon this promise of end user value. Sharing my screen again and getting back to the day's content. Now, I know that you've all heard this 100 times probably over, but I think it's important to ask the question, especially during this session. What is best of breed, really? Well, as defined by Gartner, enterprises often purchase software from different vendors to obtain the best of breed offering for each application area. For example, enterprises may purchase a human resources package from one vendor, an accounting package from another, and although ERP vendors offer numerous enterprise applications and claim that their integrated system is a superior solution, all modules in an ERP solution are rarely best of breed. A comparison that I really love is one that I saw from a vendor named Arclet, who's actually a best of breed vendor of sourcing solutions. The difference is kind of like shopping at a supermarket, a large supermarket. Imagine Target, Walmart, ICA if you're in Sweden, Aldi or Lidl if you're in the German market. Versus the best of breed approach, going to the bakery, going to the butcher, the farmer's market, and other specialty stores individually, where ingredients to the meal would be composed from unique specialists. As defined in a 2020 article by Okta, best of breed technology really refers to the leading applications, systems, or software in a niche category. Building a technology stack within procurement can be a really complex task, and evaluating what technologies can be fit for purpose can be even more challenging. And amidst this difficult exercise, which many procurement teams are currently undergoing, there's this common misconception that the application and the adoption of ProcureTech solutions has two definitive paths. It's either end to end or best of breed. This is kind of the age-old battle of these hyphenated terms, right? It's David versus Goliath, the all-in-one or end-to-end solution or the best of breed approach. And it's becoming an increasingly irrelevant and kind of harmful debate because these preconceived notions by both practitioners but also providers within the marketplace have kind of labeled end-to-end and best of breed as contradictory approaches when in reality they're anything but that. And I'm about to tell you why, but before, I would like to pause for another poll and just quickly ask those of you that are in attendance today, what is your approach? Do you currently have a single suite approach, or do you have a best of breed approach within your technology of procurement? There's also some additional options as you see there. You might be using homegrown solutions or a mix of Word, Excel, email, and alike to be able to manage the procurement process. Which is it for you? We'll wait a moment more for some votes to roll in. It seems as if it says 54% of you guys are using Excel, email, Word, and alike. So maybe some room for new solution adoption. It seems as if, though, the majority otherwise is using best of breed, whereas there are some out there using single suites who might be trying to get some inspiration for how to add on some best of breed solutions. And hopefully we'll be able to provide that here today. Switching back my screen to the content, I think it's important to address that, broader source to pay suites or end-to-end providers do have robust offerings within the ProcureTech space. All-in-one solution providers often can offer your organization the security of things like strong financial backing within their organization, resource abundance when it comes to delivery, expert within subject matters, as well as then also legacy technology. That has, of course, its upsides and its downsides as it's older technology, which means it's been tried and tested, but it's also then older technology. And I mean, end-to-end providers often market themselves and their capabilities to be kind of a one-stop shop. While the breadth comes with a strength, it equally highlights, in my opinion, a glaring weakness. Have you ever heard the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none? I know that this is a phrase that my colleague, Steve Middleton, likes a lot. It's kind of supported within this particular space. As stated by Ian Kerwin, a director in Deloitte's UK supply chain consulting practice, one of the myths that has been pushed by some of the single suite providers is that they can do everything. And I think that we're now seeing that actually there may be gaps that need to be addressed within these single suite solutions. And these gaps or white spaces experienced within single suite ProcureTech solutions isn't really a criticism of their functionality in the all-in-one or end-to-end suites, but it's kind of a natural byproduct of the complexity of procurement, right? Your guys' life, your day-to-day is complex. I loved this picture because for me, it shows that it's like crossing a million different stations within the subway. It's not straightforward. Procurement is a windy road, right? It requires agility, and equally it requires stringency within your processes. That's a tough balance. It's important that we kind of debunk this notion of best of breed or end-to-end solution. The two approaches are complementary. They're not contradictory. Best of breed solutions don't mark the end of the end-to-end procurement technology, but instead they mark the beginning of end-to-end possibilities. Best of breed solutions aren't replacing all-in-one suites. They're offering instead a concentrated and isolated slew of applications which are specialized, which often address business critical areas for the broader procurement process. These best of breed solutions are kind of the a la carte offering necessary in order to curb your appetite within your procurement organization. If you're interested in getting into the game and starting to build up your own best of breed ecosystem, then I'm sure that you will get some inspiration, and you're really in luck today. The wind is at your back. The sun is out of your eyes. The playing condition are just right now. The main drivers behind this is something that we like to call at Kodiak Hub the ProcureTech Trifecta. This trifecta is really built upon three current states of ProcureTech. The first being best-of-breed solution providers. They themselves are maturing within their technology. The funding and capital that's flowing into the space. This is aiding emerging technology vendors to grow their business and solution capabilities. And the last leg of the trifecta, you. The early adopters, the procurement practitioners that are fed up with outdated legacy and homegrown technologies, you that are managing procurement processes in Excel and SharePoint. And when it comes down to it, you know that all-in-one procurement solutions suddenly don't have all you want. And subsequently, these procurement teams are starting to work with growth ventures, startup ventures, best-of-breed providers, or point solutions to fill the gaps in their broader procurement ecosystems. The thing is that best-of-breed is no longer a gamble. It's becoming the norm. Found in the 2022 CPO Compass survey by procurement leaders, it was reported that 59% of procurement functions are targeting a best-of-breed approach to technology adoption in 2022 during this past year. And we see that that trend will continue during the next year. As suggested in the ProcureTech 100 yearbook that was just published, sponsored by IBM, there is an assumption that best of all solutions, ecosystems that are built of multiple best of breeds, creating more so micro platforms, will start to emerge during the coming years. Again, your procurement teams are living, breathing organisms, and many have dynamic user journeys. So these types of micro platforms will provide your teams with more nimble means to streamline processes and make decisions faster. As well, it's been well put kind of by this, this quote from the Yearbook 100 as well, by Tim Perry-Ogden of Jaguar. He says that there is no one-stop shop to cover risk management end-to-end, for example. It's likely going to require an ecosystem within an ecosystem. The market right now is moving away from one solution that does it all to essential management of focus solutions for specialist areas. Again, the best of all approach. If you've been inspired by the session up to this point, then you might be thinking, well, how in the heck will I sell in the benefits of a best-of-breed ecosystem, a best-of-breed approach to the rest of my team? To help you out, we've put together a list of what we've called the 8 I's, the benefits for adopting best-of-breed procurement technology. To go through these quickly, starting with number 1, investment. More compact solutions, best-of-breed solutions, niche solutions will have niche functionality and opportunity for customization may be less than these kind of single suite providers, but they also come with a different kind of price tag. Investments in best-of-breed or gap-filling solutions can be expected to be the fraction of a price of a single suite provider. When weighing, though, the risk and reward of best-of-breed investments, it's important to also take into consideration the implications of system failures in best-of-breed versus single suite. As put by Jeffries from 2020, if there's a problem with a suite, it will typically affect numerous business processes. Best-of-breed solutions, by comparison, are much more compartmentalized, and these can also be removed with relatively little fuss or expense. It isn't always as easy as downloading a new app on the phone, but it's much easier than a company-wide change that comes with the single suite providers. I, number 2, implementation. Smaller technological scopes with best-of-breed ProcureTech often offer the opportunity for quicker implementation and quicker adoption. This reduces your overall total cost of ownership and time to value within a procurement, digitalization, or development project. Looking at screen here, you can see, for example, the suggested timeline of an onboarding within a solution like Kodiak Hub. This is subject to number of users and range of functionality, but our typical timelines are anywhere from 3 to 4 months, not 3 to 4 years. Into step number 3, the third I, user interfaces. User friendliness and user experience, is often atop the list of technological or functional requirements when teams are looking to evaluate new and modern procurement technology, right? The beauty is that best of breed solutions can deliver this end user with a friendly interface that's not going to be influenced or determined by an overriding concept of design. Specialist service providers also have the agility to update their offerings more flexibly as the technology evolves. And customers have the benefit of being exposed to tried and tested applications, which in turn allows them to get ahead of their competition. As you see on screen, these are some of the interfaces that can be offered by a best-of-breed solution like we have at Kodiak Hub. One that's user-friendly, no fuss, visual, and easy for our customers to be able to get value out of, and on top of that, adopt. And we'll get into the interface in just a moment when we get into our solution demonstration. But first, number 4, easy integration. As procurement organizations mature in their digital solutions and the digital architectures that they have, the gaps are going to be identified, right? Historically, gaps in procurement suites have been filled by manual tasks or homegrown solutions. At the intersection, though, of this maturity and the emergence of more best-of-breed providers, the availability also of open source APIs existing will create a new era of connectivity between solutions. The APIs are available are really going to bring data, workflows, and in some cases, third-party functionalities into the existing backbone of the procurement tech stack. And integration is really going to be key for you and your organization to evaluate within best-of-breed providers. Is the true area of focus to create end-to-end solutions, though, via the ecosystem of multiple solutions? And we believe that it is. And with that, of course, integration is very important. Step number 5, or number 5, incremental improvement. We all know that change doesn't happen overnight, right? Change, innovation, and development, they don't need to be revolutionary or disruptive. Taken from the A.T. Kearney study from 2018, named The Future of Procurement Technology, Mediocrity is No Longer Acceptable. It was suggested that there are 3 paths to be taken when seeking out new ProcureTech solution providers, especially in the best-of-breed category. One of which suggests do a like-for-like replacement, keeping the existing system while adding on individual best-of-breed solutions. And as it said in that study, this leads to a less disruptive path. So change, we wanted to remind you, can also be incremental. It doesn't need to be all at once. And benefit number 6, imagination. Best-of-breed solutions allow you and your team to imagine and illustrate your perfect ProcureTech ecosystem, your utopia. Looking at this illustration of a ProcureTech process map, as well as then kind of a schematic flow, it's apparent that there are some areas here to fill, right? It's complex. Some areas serve as a special purpose within the broader source-to-pay landscape, while others, such as supplier relationship management, supplier risk management, enterprise resource planning, right? These are driving value throughout the entire life cycle of the procurement process. If one were to try and take a crack at looking at this overall landscape and rebuilding it with the thought process of not a single stop solution, but instead taking a best of all approach with best of breed providers, it could look something like this, filling respective areas of the process with solutions that fulfill specialized functionality. And imagining your best of breed landscape, because it might not look like this, it will also require a discovery of which solutions are not just best of breed, but best fit for you, which leads rather nicely into our 7th I, inspiration. And if you're having a tough time imagining the future of your procurement technology stack, it could very well be because you don't know where to look for inspiration. Some awesome resources to find some of the top best of breed and best fit solutions are ProcureTech 100, Procurement Magazine's Top 100, Spend Matters, 50 to Watch, 50 to Know, Digital Procurement World, Solution Maps, ProcureTech, Sustainable ProcureTech Map, ProcureTech's Network, and of course, Dr. Eloise, who's from Kearney, ProcureTech Market Map, which has turned into one of the industry's best. Getting inspired, of course, will help you to inspire others, which is kind of going to be the embryo for application and adoption of new technology. The last I and the benefit of best of breed, innovation. Choosing to collaborate with startup growth ventures, best of breed providers often offers greater opportunities for practitioner-driven innovation. Best of breed providers are continuously striving to refine their niche within broader software categories. And on top of that, this breed of solution providers tend to be built on the latest, most modern technology, as relative upstarts are really laser focused on solving a single problem or a more narrow problem and designed to adapt quickly to changes in the requirements or the market. And in order to ensure that market demands are met, best of breed providers are often really laser focused on providing flexible yet out of the box solutions that are directly the result of customer use cases and challenges. Best of breed providers are often interested also in finding that product market fit as deeply as possible to ensure that there's a means to create a product market evolution and really own a space. So now that you have some of your selling points necessary, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how in the heck are we going to put these things into action? Well, first and foremost, I think that there's two primary things, if not three primary things that you need. One of those is going to be more budget. Procurement professionals just like you know the value of modern applications, right? You know the value of procurement technology within the procurement software domain, but it's not certain that your management, that your board of directors always recognizes the need. Areas like fintech, martech, right? We've heard these terms, and they still have a far grander significance in the broader business than ProcureTech. And this is reflected in the trends, in the budget that you're receiving. A simple Google search for a term such as fintech, it gave me 464 million results, while a search of ProcureTech, less than 20,000. More concretely, a report by Brainy Insights, the global mentioned, that the global fintech market was worth $115 billion in 2021 and is on track to reach a value of $936 billion by 2030, growing at a compound annual growth rate also of 26%. The gap in the market expansion and compounding growth rate between fintech in comparison to the market value for the future of ProcureTech very clearly illustrates the lacking support on spending within procurement software within the global markets at scale, and that of course is going to impact the market cap. With this being said, we also see massive amounts of VC funding coming into this space. We also see massive acquisitions happening. Coupa, for example, was just acquired for $8 billion, I think earlier this week. So there is some movement happening, but the gap is still there, and your leadership needs to be inspired to understand why ProcureTech is important, because it's very obvious that the majority of leaderships are not. As stated by a Spend Matters article written by Brian Hoffmeyer, who's the SVP of Marketing Strategies at Beeline, he suggests that CPOs of today, they need to become chief value officers, which we know, right? But they also need to become the chief technical officers of their own procurement teams, right? If they're going to plan on swinging the budget and the momentum in procurement's direction, they need to know what the tech is that they're buying. IT teams have historically been responsible for the acquisition and implementation of procurement technology. If procurement is looking to take matters into their own hands and show the value of procurement and digitalization to the rest of the organization, then the CPO must take an active role in technology decisions, or the technology decisions will simply be forced upon them. Everyone keeps saying, right, procurement is looking for a seat at the table. they're looking to sit with the management. As David Lattin, a role player in the sourcing organization at Logitech, said during one of our sessions in recording of the way we source, procurement needs to start building its own table. Have the others come and sit with you. Securing budget is really just one part of this equation, right? The hard yards are behind building a ProcureTech ecosystem and a ProcureTech architecture that will all really scale and succeed. During a recent presentation of the ProcureTech 100 by ProcureTech, as well as with Kearney, Dr. Eloise Epstein presented the image that's on screen now. And this is a really high-level overview of how Dr. Epstein said that she sees the future of a well-oiled and high-performing ProcureTech stack or architecture. Now, I know that this image is a lot to digest, right? But there is one thing that you can take away from here, driven by the color coding that we see in the top right-hand corner. Notice that most of these different areas are driven by best-of-breed technology, everything from SRM, ESG, risk collaboration, contract lifecycle management, so forth and so on. But also notice that equally at the backbone of this very robust ProcureTech architecture is human intervention and talent. Technology is a means to achieve excellence, but your team are the ones that have the responsibility to own the new technology and adopt a new mode of operating, the ones that are going to get you there. We're here to tell you that there is a way that you could be able to do this, and the application of best-of-breed solutions doesn't mark, again, the end of end-to-end technology. This is really just a new beginning, an exciting beginning, and the world is right in front of you. You just got to go out and grab it. With that said, I would like to shift gears and provide a look into a best-of-breed solution, which is our own Kodiak Hub, to inspire anyone that's out there looking for an SRM solution that could aid your team to be able to cover areas such as supplier information management, risk, ESG, supplier performance evaluation, collaboration, and much more. But before we do so, I would like to actually pause for a poll before I jump into the demonstration and just ask if you would like, following this session, would you be interested in a demonstration of the Kodiak Hub solution further than the 5 to 10 minutes that I'm going to spend in the solution now, which I'm switching over my screen to? If so, please let us know in the poll now. I'll give everybody a moment to try and respond on the poll, and then I will get into the demonstration of the solution. Please respond now if you'd be interested in a deeper dive, and somebody will be in touch with you following this session to be able to book up some time in the calendar. And now I'm going to reshare my screen here, where everybody in attendance should be able to now see my screen and see suppliers around the globe. Like I mentioned, we're only going to be in this interface for about 5 minutes or so. I just want to give some inspiration as to what type of 360-degree supplier insights a best-of-breed supplier relationship management solution can provide you with. As you see, we can be able to see some quick risk insights, understanding the contextual risk of our suppliers around the globe. We can also be able to see individual supplier profiles from here on this particular overview, which allows us to directly jump into those supplier profiles. We can also, though, navigate to other interfaces, something like you see here on screen, a supplier list overview, getting you and your team out of your spreadsheets into a solution that's a little bit more malleable, so you can be able to quickly identify and segment supplier groupings, find top and bottom performers driven by a supplier rating profile, and be able to add, import, export data very quickly as well to the solution. Jumping into a scorecard, which is really a supplier's control center. Here you're able to build a lot of 360-degree insights about the supplier, dig into their risk or their performance profile, understand more third-party risk insights driven by some of the third-party risk that we provide on the right-hand side. Actions or collaborations ongoing with the supplier sit in the scorecard. Documents that have been shared sit here. It's really your control center for a single supplier, and these are the types of benefits that can be provided as well by a best of breed within this space. Softer elements like note-taking capabilities. As I mentioned before, the ability to be able to communicate, finding actions based upon their status or their action type. Also being able to directly start new actions in a communication portal between you and a supplier. So you guys can be able to have the ability to communicate back and forth. Everyone can be able to chat. Things can be shared within this portal, such as documents and alike, and you can be able to push forward the process with this supplier, whether it's a corrective action or development actions. Documents shared here as well, also reposited directly again in that 360-degree view. So any documents that have been shared either in assessments that are sent out, audits or evaluations that are rolling back in, or anything that you yourself upload into the solution or the supplier uploads into that collaboration space will be reposited directly here. So you can keep contracts, you can keep product specifications, you can keep compliance documentation all in one place. So you're able to stay on top of things like expiry dates and alike, and be able to then drive excellence within your supplier base. Again, spotting the risks and the opportunities quickly that exist. The rating profile allows us to get a really nice balanced view of this supplier so we can take more value-based sourcing decisions. We're able to break down these rating profiles as we see fit to better understand the business risks associated with this supplier or their overall levels of compliance. These can be driven by individual company needs and targets or standard frameworks. So you guys can be able to ensure that you're driving risks that are most relevant to your business. Same thing within performance. And the idea here behind the rating methodology, again, is to be able to aggregate data into the solution, which is then in line with your KPIs that you'd like to address, being able to then spot risks and opportunities quicker, but also being able to see value progression over time. Is a supplier getting better or are they getting worse? The aggregated views of the data properties helps us to be able to do so, allowing us to be able to quickly see if a supplier is getting better or getting worse. Third-party risk insights are also directly and natively integrated into our interface. So as you remember within that image that I showed, risk insights, whether they're third-party risk or risk solutions, typically they're data providers, right? So there's no reason to have to jump between different interfaces. Directly in our solution, you can get financial insights. You can get media insights. You can be able to get different types of insights surrounding the sanctions of politically exposed persons in an organization further down on the page. There's a lot of different capabilities within the solution to be able to pull in third-party data, so you're not having to leave this interface, but instead allowing the best-of-breed solution within this SRM space to really drive the 360-degree view of your individual suppliers or categories of suppliers and alike. Within the impact space, this is where you can be able to drive impact with the supplier relationship and also the intelligence to be able to dive deeper and segment up your data as you need to. We don't have much more time to be able to demonstrate the interface today, but I would instead like to urge anyone that is interested in learning more about us to be able to ask for a demonstration either in that previous poll, if you haven't done so yet, or as I'm sharing on screen here now, feel free to be able to go ahead and scan the QR code. As you see here, we're looping things back to the beginning of the session, Industry 4.0 and my Cashew package. Feel free to scan the tab on the screen right now, the QR code on the screen right now, and simply request the demonstration directly via the link that you will be provided with. With that being said, we're right on time, and I'd like to utilize this last 5 minutes for a questions and answers session. So if you have any questions, or if you've had them during the session, feel free to write down in the chat bubble now, and we'll make sure to pluck out a few of those questions to respond to as well. again, if there's any questions in the session. Maria, thank you for your question. Gurpreet, thank you for your question as well. Please make sure to put those questions in the chat bubble now. We'll start responding to some of those. Maria, for your question, the question was about the sources. Are there specialized data sources per industry? For third-party data sources, these data sources are uniquely related to the supplier. When it comes to, though, any type of insights that are being driven from a compliance perspective or risk perspective, as well as from a performance perspective, these can be completely configured to your industry or utilized from international frameworks in that case. So we have our solutions very industry agnostic in that perspective. We have companies working in various spaces. I see that you said medical device. That's a space that we're in. We're in medical devices. We're in pharma. Yeah, we're in food production, marketing services, EV, paint, technology, construction, you name it. Gurpreet, I appreciate your question, and it's I agree with you that it's sometimes difficult for the CPO to convince management for budgets. Do I have any pointers or data to support the decision making? I would urge you to look into some of the case studies that we have, and Gurpreet, feel free to write me a message directly as well following this session, and I can make sure to get over to you some case studies that we have which are able to show the ROI of solutions such as for SRM. And I'm sure that other data solution providers that you're looking to purchase from also have case studies or kind of high-level business case figures as well to be able to share. Maria, the exchange of documents is done via, yes, dynamic portals that can be utilized, that can be sent out directly to suppliers, which they can be able to access. So they're online smart portals that they can be able to enter into and share the documentation that's necessary. For example, compliance documentation or in the collaboration space as well. The question from Victor here was also if there's an interface for sources like Risk Methods or EcoVadis. We can absolutely hook up with other third-party data providers and risk providers. EcoVadis, for example, is a partner of ours, and we're currently working actually with getting that integration in place for existing customers. So if you have an agreement with EcoVadis, then absolutely you can visualize that data in our solution. And the other question that I see there was that can you do segmentation and performance evaluation directly in the tool? Absolutely, you can do so with the performance evaluation module. And Maria, how many tiers can be covered? I mean, it always starts with tier 1, but additional tier data capturing of additional tiers is possible if that data is shared with you by first tier suppliers, of course, which you can be able to set up intelligently in different types of questionnaires that you're rolling out, so you can get back and map those further tiers of the supply chain as well. So thanks for that question. It seems as if I've answered all the questions that are currently in the bubble, and I see Gurpreet, thank you for your question. Yes, I will be sending across we will be sending across tomorrow morning. You will all receive at the latest a link to the recording of this session. If you would like the individual slides, then please just reach out to me internally or directly, and I can make sure to provide a version that's a clean version of the slides as well. There's no any additional questions in the session, then I would thank you all for your participation. And wish you a really good rest of your day, a really happy holiday season with your family, friends, and colleagues. And we hope to be hearing from you more soon. Please make sure to look out for any type of events that we're going to be hosting in the new year, as well as we have a whole slew of great content that we're going to be providing our network with. Thank you so much again for your time. And again, if you haven't had the opportunity to do so and you're interested, you'd like to have a demo of the solution, make sure to just scan the QR code that's on screen now, and we'll make sure to reach out to you, and or you can directly book some time in the calendar via that link. Thank you so much for your participation, and have a good rest of your day.